So, it's almost the end of the year. It doesn't feel like it. I'm not even sure why I'm making this video, but hey, it's an excuse to make up for the fact that I haven't made any actual content since September, Jesus. But hey, I thought it'd be fun to look back on what I've done this year and see if I did something worthwhile or just wasted my time. So let's talk about this for a second. This was not the video I thought would kick my channel off. I was expecting to do a standard review of a game or some interesting concept, but those bastards at Sonic Team decided to make me cry with the Symphony. Immediately after I saw the livestream, I realized that, hey, this is a brand new topic that I just experienced, it's relevant, and I enjoyed it, so why not make this my first video? So I did. And it was bad. Okay, to be fair, I don't think it was horrible. I think it's just more ambitious than anything, considering it's 30 minutes long! I didn't know it would be that long until I got to the 20-minute mark, and I was like only halfway there. I think it's a fine enough first video, but since then I've learned a lot more about editing, and god man, it's hard to watch. Number one, my mic was awful. It's this $30 mic that I bought off of Amazon, and I swear I could not get it to sound good at all. Another issue was the footage. I basically screen recorded the entire show off of my phone, but I didn't record it at a high enough resolution, so basically the whole video is running in 480 in 720. Then there's the actual editing, which is barely even existent. I didn't have an actual editing program, so I just used the Windows video editor to make this whole thing. Honestly, I think I should pat myself on the back for making such an ambitious video in that molasses of a program, but it really shows in the editing how hard it was. Another thing was the character stills. I do not know how I looked at these and thought they looked okay. The brush size I used was way too big, and it's barely even in my art style. Here's some of what my actual legitimate artwork looks like and compare it to this. That's disgusting. I did all these digitally instead of what I normally do, which is draw them on a piece of paper, take a picture, put them into Krita, have Krita crash because it's fucking stupid, put it back in, and trace over it and do all the coloring and shading in the program, etc, etc. I also rushed a lot of them because basically anytime I wanted to make a scene with a character still in it, I'd have to stop the video production, then whip up a new still that fit that scene, put it in, and edit it, and then I could continue making the actual video. It was basically editing until I got to a new character still roadblock, and it was really annoying. The perks of being an artist. One big fear that I had when making this was I actually good at reading a script, and if the jokes were decent or absolutely cringe. From what I've heard from other people, that's actually not the case. My jokes land pretty alright, and there isn't really anything extremely bad in the video. Unless all you fuckers have been lying to me and you were just laughing your ass off the whole time at how bad it was. Honestly, I'd be more accepting of you saying that it was cringe instead of just you saying, it was good, smile, but whatever, at least it wasn't awful. Another big problem that I have with this video is that out of all the things I could talk about, I decided to review music. Now, I love music. I create music and play a couple instruments, and I listen to music as a hobby all the time, but this was the first time I had ever properly reviewed music. And it was hard. I found myself using the same adjectives to describe things and didn't really know how to create good metaphors and or just put things in a way that made sense or was relatable. I kind of just poetically said, "Sounds good," in 50 different ways. Which leads me to another issue. The video itself is outdated. As time has gone on, I've become more critical of the Symphony. I still think it's amazing, don't get me wrong, but there are some things in it that I gave a lot of praise that I don't necessarily think are that great. Then again, that video was coming from the first impression since I literally made that video right after the stream ended, so maybe it's just a product of its time. Overall, I think it's an ambitious first video, and I'm happy that it finally made me pull the trigger on making videos in general. I've always wanted to be a content creator since I was a little kid, and I'm really glad that that dream is starting to become true, so I at least have that to thank for this video. And then July rolls around. I got a random idea to find out how many days it would take Sonic to beat Dark Gaia in-game. Yes, this is the real backstory to this video's creation. I love to do little analysis stuff like this for fun, so I wrote out the whole process in my friend's Discord. I also shared it with my friend Chris, or Crispy Biscuits, who also helps me with videos and makes my thumbnails and thinks you're really awesome and cool. And he was like, what if you turned that into a YouTube video? And you won't believe what I did until August 3rd. So this video was way higher in quality than the Symphony video, if not only for the fact that I actually bought an editing program. But that's sort of the double-edged sword of this video. It was the first proper thing that I made with the program, and thus it's a little messy. Another good thing is that I got my hands on a capture card so I could use my own footage. However, that made me realize how slow making gaming content on YouTube is, because now I had to actually play through the game and get all the footage I needed. And I've played Unleashed so many times that going through it again was very tedious. I basically started a new save file and then just wrote the script as I played through the game. However, that created new problems when I had to keep track of where the characters were, whether it was daytime or nighttime, and inevitably I was gonna screw up at some point. And what do you know? There was a point where I ended up having to rewrite a good chunk of the script just because I put 2 locations out of order by accident. Even in the final video I made a mistake, and I had to just correct myself really quickly because I wasn't willing to go back and fix it. It just became a really huge mess really quickly. I also had a problem with my capture card where the footage would glitch out for a second, which meant I had to work around it, but you can still see it in some parts of that video. The actual script of the video wasn't too hard since I just had to base it off of the original Discord message, but it was still a pretty difficult video to make. I specifically wanted to make the video more relaxed and shorter since the Sonic Symphony video actually did really wear me out. I was so exhausted, and the last thing I wanted to do was make another 30-minute monster of a video where I talk about this thing. So I tried to have a bit more fun with it. The editing, again, isn't that great since I was still getting used to the new software, but my voicing in this is just not good in my opinion. The script that I ended up voicing was fine when I read it, but when you listen to it, man, it gets confusing real quick. I even made a joke about it halfway through. The whole video just feels like a run-on sentence, and my delivery on lines was not good. I also got an idea halfway through writing that in order to satiate some of that boredom, I could have a part where the more confusing it gets, the louder and more insane I and the editing become, which I think was a cool idea, but it sort of hurt the script because then I had to record lines with increasing desperation and yelling in my voice, which I'm not very good at doing, and it just became a mess within a mess, if that makes sense. But hey, the character stills were a lot better. This was when I decided what my little unique flavor in my videos was gonna be, drawing new character stills for every video. Now that sounds like hell. It is, but honestly I don't mind doing it. My art is constantly changing and I want to have a lot more art and animation elements in my videos to make them stand out and also push myself. There are a lot of other YouTubers who have character stills that they just reuse for all their videos, which is fine, but after a while I just get tired of seeing them just phone in whatever emotion they have on their roulette wheel of stills to make a point more impactful. It loses effect really quickly. And I get it, drawing new stills is very time consuming and people don't want to do that. Chipflake actually made an entire video on this very topic, and yeah, it can make things more stressful, annoying, and it's generally not very resourceful. I want to reiterate that there's absolutely nothing wrong with reusing stills for videos, I just want to create a bit more variety and uniqueness between all my videos, you know? I'm an artist, I want to make art, why not show that creativity in my videos? I'm not sure about which of these 2 videos I like more. I think the Unleashed one is more creative, technically impressive, but at least I don't cringe at my lines in the Symphony video as much. I don't know, there's just something about it that I don't like. After this video, I was really exhausted. I did both of these back to back and I just wanted to get away from editing. I worked on that Symphony video pretty much non-stop until it was finished, and I was just so sick of looking at my computer screen. So what did I do? Made one last video. Yep, I overworked myself. To be fair, it was only about a 2-minute long video that didn't require much effort, but I should have just cut it off and took a break. I was really burnt out. And after that, I didn't make any videos until a bit later. And then the release of Colors Ultimate got close. Now, if you remember watching the Symphony video, I mentioned that I would do a video on it when it was released. And I was for the longest time. I even pre-ordered it and got it the first day it was available. I played through it, thought it sucked, thought about it some more, decided to give the developers some slack, and started my video on it. I wrote the whole script within a single day, and I started gathering all the footage I needed. Once I got all the footage, I started voicing and putting the video together. And something inside me gave me this feeling like what I was doing wasn't really worth it. Like anything I could say about it could and would be said by other people a lot better, and it started to really discourage me. After the second day of editing, I just stopped. I still said I was working on it, but I really wasn't. 3 days passed, then 5 days, then a week, then 2 weeks, and I hadn't even gotten the intro done. I just didn't have the passion or want to work on it. So it just sat there, not being worked on, until Ant Dude released his video on Ultimate, and it was everything I wanted my video to be. It was basically my video, but way better in structure, and that was the moment where I canned it. I just knew that someone would make such a similar video of higher quality, and my video wouldn't really amount to anything. I just kept beating myself up about it, and I didn't even really try to make it my own. I guess this is what having creative burnout as a YouTuber is. I just never expected it to be so, sudden and miserable. I never realized how little that creative spark can become when you are exhausted and don't have the right headspace to make something. It both made me reassess what I was doing and why, and also gave me a newfound respect for creators as a whole. Now let me just say, I mean no ill will to Ant whatsoever. This isn't me trying to attack you or make you feel bad for me because you made a video that I also wanted to make. It was just important to the whole story of how the video got canned and how that sort of creative block can happen. I mean absolutely no harm. But funnily enough, that's not the end of Ant Dude's part in this because that motherfucker copied me! I remember conceptualizing a video that looked at the DSiWare game since I had a feeling that the 3DS eShop might close at some point. So I thought about buying a handful of games on my 3DS before that happened so I can have them for a potential video. And that led me to the Virtual Console games as well. I bought Mario Land 1 and 2 just to replay them, and I got an idea to do a video on both of them, since I have a lot of fond memories of playing them both on my cousin's Game Boy. But then I realized that I've never played a Wario Land game, so I was like, hey, what if I made a video on the entire Land series of games? That'd be pretty different. You motherfucker! Right before I was about to start editing the video for the series, Ant releases his video on the whole Wario Land series. I hadn't even started playing Wario Land 2. Come the fuck on. It was almost comedic with how quickly that video came out after I started working on mine. Now let me be clear, yes, I know that just because another YouTuber makes a video on something, that in no way, shape, or form means I can't do one as well. And I knew this. I did end up canning the video. I may come back to it at some point, but not because Ant made his. I was having some creative issues with the whole thing. I just had no idea what kind of video I wanted it to be. I wrestled with trying to do live action where I sit in my chair and talk to you, and it was just a huge mess trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Also, in order to get your capture card working for your 3DS, you have to be a fucking electrical engineer, so yeah, that's not happening. I tried to get the games running on my computer and capture footage that way, but as soon as I started playing through Wario Land 1 again since I bought it on the 3DS, I was just like, man, fuck this. This is a mess. And just left the script to rot. I was having a really hard time trying to find motivation and just the want to make videos. I always thought about making content on YouTube, and I was so confused as to why I felt so stuck and creatively bankrupt. It was such an awful feeling knowing that I could be working on growing my channel and making cool stuff, and I just wasn't. I couldn't even manage to sit down at my computer and think about making a video. I just didn't want to. But then at some point, I realized that all the videos I was working on was stuff that I was jumping into for the first time. Concepts I'd never tackled before, like music and games I've never played. I was so stressed out about making content on stuff I was new to, and I realized that I needed to make something that I felt confident talking about. Something that I really had a passion for and could say a lot of unique things on, even if people have basically done the same exact video. There is so much frivolous and useless shit I've always thought about some of my favorite games that I've just never heard people talk about before, and I wanted to try to bring some light to some of those things to people who also felt that way. So I looked at my shelf of games and found it. Waggle shit! Wii Sports, I fucking love this game. It fit all the criteria that I wanted in a video game review. It's a game I've played and am very knowledgeable about, one that I had a strong passion for, and just something I felt confident talking about. Also, to boot, I haven't seen many Wii Sports retrospectives, so it was perfect. I started working on it and felt great. I wrote the script pretty slowly, but smoothly, and I think I made something that tops both my other videos. I worked on it a lot, but I did take breaks to not get burnt out, and every time I came back to it, I was excited to work on it, and I reviewed the entire game with minimal issue. And the last time I touched it was mid-November. Damn it! So a little ways into the video, I decided that it would probably be better to review both Wii Sports and Resort since I actually enjoy Resort more. And once I finished the Wii Sports section, I just stopped. A lot of that no motivation I was talking about earlier can be applied here. First, I didn't work on it for 3 days, then a week, then 2 weeks, then a month, then almost 2 months. And I felt horrible. It's sort of the same feeling as people who work from home get, in that you're always at work, so there's usually always something you could be doing. And the fact that I had gotten so much done, like 20 minutes of the video fully edited, I would beat myself up every time I didn't want to work on it. I was right back into feeling miserable. Now, to be fair, a lot of things in my personal life did get in the way of this. My grades in school sucked, and I had to start taking it a lot more seriously since I'm trying to raise my GPA up so I can get into college. I went on a field trip to a college last month, and once I was there, I truly saw what it was like and realized that I needed to go to college. I've always planned on going, but that trip made me realize how much I really wanted to go. So I started working really hard in school so that I would be able to go, which has been the biggest stressor on me. And since my entire future is sorta on the line, the Wii Sports video has since taken a huge backseat. There's also other projects that I'm working on top of being in an AP art class, which if you've never been in one, it's quite possibly the most stressful and demanding class I've ever fucking been in. On top of having a job and trying to save up money to get a car, yeah, a lot of things are on the line, and it's just more stresses that have been sorta plaguing me these past few months. However, with all that being said, this video is going to come out. You have my word. Over these past few weeks, I have been slowly wanting to get back into making it, and I'm going to try to approach video making with a more healthy mindset going forward, just so that I can break this sort of development hell I've been in, I guess is what you would call it. But yeah, that's just sorta what's been going on and where I've been all this time. I hope that this didn't seem too, like, self-indulgent or self-loathing. I just felt like it was necessary to make a video like this to reflect on what I've done this year and just improve. I want to improve. I actively want to get better at making videos. I want to entertain. I want to make you guys laugh with content. And I feel like understanding my faults at making this kind of stuff is very important to the creation of said content. Also, I made this video so I could tell myself to get off my own ass and make something. But yeah, that's just sort of it, really. So I guess just look forward to the stuff that I have planned in the future. I have a lot of cool stuff planned. Anyways, thanks for listening to me whine about how I suck for however many minutes, and I'll see you all very soon. I hope you guys got a ton of cool shit for Christmas. Hey, thanks for watching. I want to give a huge shout out to Chris because seriously, without his help, this video probably wouldn't have been able to come out this year. If you want to check out his channel, he just released his Luigi's Mansion video, which you can watch right there. And if you, for some reason, want to see one of my other videos that I've made, here's the Sonic Unleashed video that I shat on for basically the whole time. Like I said, I've got a lot of cool stuff planned in the future, so hopefully you'll stay tuned. Alright, I'm gonna shut up.